Thank you, Paul, and I would like to thank David Baker and AGTF for inviting me again to talk about gems. People know me as a diamond expert. I am on color diamonds and synthetic diamonds, but I did talk about pink diamonds in the past. I talked about red gems in the past here. Today we talk about what we can do with the standard instruments and those who has some advanced lab instruments with the green gems that looks like natural, treated as synthetic. I run a Canadian gem lab in Vancouver for 10 years, and lately, last maybe 3-4 years, I do a lot of activity international with the Branko gems, my consulting company, that we do all kind of research projects, rough diamonds, fluorescence of diamonds, color diamonds, and we put these research findings into little booklets or larger books with cooperation with other labs and other researchers. And I'm very proud to organize a Mediterranean Gem and Jewelry Conference for now 5 years. And this is new, only this year started, we have a new trip to Ural Mountains. So let's talk about what we will do in these 45 minutes. And the difference between my lectures are, I always like to do a little bit practical at the end, because this is, most of you are gemologists or appraisers or in a trade, you need to look at the stones mounted and loose, and I have a lot of experience seeing them. I'd like to share at least something at 15, 20, half an hour, how long you can stay after my lecture. So we'll talk about cross-polarized filters and spectroscope as one of the tools. Everybody using a loupe and microscope, that's okay, but I'm focusing really on other techniques that are not so known to the average gemologist, jeweler, appraiser. It's fluorescence of gems. And I will touch on PL inspector or jewel inspector. You can see them here in the middle. They're very powerful tools for screening and in many cases identification of the treatments or synthetic gem. And I will mention at the end what other labs and myself do with some advanced instruments, not focusing on that, I will just mention. And hopefully you will stay and look at some stones. We also have a few stones here that are available for those who want to get little small sets of stones. So basically luminescence, fluorescence, how it works. This is my colleague John Chapman, who is a physicist who making this instrument based on my input. As you can see, if you have a gem or a diamond and some UV light, in this case we have 365 and 254, will pass through the stone, and it will be some rays of the to the conduction band, and as a result we have some relaxation of some excessive energy that will be emitted, in this case as fluorescence. Could be takes much longer, and we can turn off the light, and that we call phosphorescence, afterglow when we turn off the light. Very important for detection of lab-grown HPHT diamonds, the phosphoresce, all melee diamonds. And today we have, it's not about diamonds, but at the end we can show some diamonds as well with the gem pen. My colleague, speaker next conference, Kelly will show that. And basically we look at this fluorescence. Why it's important? Because fluorescence basically reflects what is chemical composition of the gemstone. So if it's a chromium present a lot, it will fluoresce red, for example, in ruby or emerald. And this is very useful because the intensity of fluorescence and the relation between long UV, short UV can give us a lot of information about origin of the stone. Of course, there are other type of luminescence, but we're not going to talk about this. Though I'm using it at University of British Columbia, catoluminescence and X-ray for checking chemistry. Fluorescence came actually named after mineral fluorite or gem fluorite. And you can see, this is my last year photo from the booklet on purple, pink, and red gems. Fluorite fluoresce interesting colors, usually changing from blue to purple. And this is the one more kind of green-blue, blue-green, that also showing this kind of a change. So every stone has an interesting fluorescence. Of course, we all deal with diamonds, and we all test or some of you sell or buy diamonds. So diamonds can fluoresce in many colors. Most of you are familiar with the blue color, of course, and if they fluoresce, most of them fluoresce blue, but could be other colors as well, even purple, yellow, orange, orange-yellow, even red, what is rare for type 2B, for example, a diamond from Smithsonian, from Hope diamond. So people talk about fluorescence as a discounted value. This is, of course, true. And this is a stone from Gachok-Human in Canada that is closed 2 years ago. One of the reasons was the price of diamonds went down, and also these stones are so much discounted, not only this one, there are many other sources of these stones in other parts of the world, even 40%. But for us, fluorescence is not only about discount price, it's about identification tool. I can tell you, I've never seen lab-grown diamonds that fluoresce medium or strong or very strong blue under long UV light. I mentioned this to the Diamond Dealer Club in LA, in front of the full house of dealers, and they're completely shocked. They never heard about this. They're dealing 30, 40 years in diamonds. So if you have diamonds with medium, strong, very strong blue fluorescence, long UV light, this is natural diamond. Especially if you compare to short UV, it's 1 to 2 degrees weaker. That's something to take away from this little talk about diamonds. And we look at these diamonds with, of course, spectrometers if you are in the laboratories, but this lamp is very powerful because color of fluorescence reflects really what is the composition of a diamond. So generally speaking, blue color is a good indication that we're dealing with natural diamonds, especially when you have medium to strong fluorescence. Green, as you can see here, it's caused by different impurities in diamonds, and usually it's an indication of some heat in a diamond due naturally or artificially could be treated. Orange, yellow, orange fluorescence, most often it's an indication, again, of treatments in diamonds. I have one pink diamond here that is treated multi-step. You can see medium orange fluorescence and the long UV and weak and the short UV. This is natural diamond, but post-treated. So fluorescence is really important for diamonds as a good indication of the treatment. It's not a final answer. It's just the first thing what we can do if its stone is loose or mounted. So, of course, green diamonds are most complicated to detect, and labs are still struggling after many years of research. Sometimes you see undetermined color. Why? Because this is a diamond naturally irradiated from Guyana or Brazil. I was a few times in Brazil. Unfortunately, after they recut the stone, they will remove these green stains. So we cannot see evidence of that. And after treatment, these stains are changing. The good news is that some stones that maybe you heard about chameleon diamonds. This is stones that change color temporarily when heated to a little bit lower temperature. They are originally olive colors and changing to orange yellow. This is a very interesting collection that I studied when I was in New York with Thomas Henschwagen and other people from New York. And then you can see how the change is from more olive colors to more orange yellow. This is classic chameleon. This is not so big change. We call them reverse or not classic. Why I'm showing these stones? Because these are only a couple of stones that I know that are interesting from point of fluorescence and phosphorescence. Because these stones, you can detect them just looking at phosphorescence under short UV light. So this is a daylight picture. And the long UV, they are mostly orange yellow. This is not classic chameleon. And they won't phosphoresce. But classic one will phosphoresce for some time. So be careful. Why? Because phosphorescence is a good tool to detect chameleon diamonds, but very important to see intensity of fluorescence, and this is weaker than a long UV, so it's still natural diamond. And another technique I use a lot in my workshops, it's how we can see this diamond is natural. Of course, this is natural diamond because of we know it because of the infrared spectra, but under cross-polarized filters, we see this zoning under cross-polarizers, what is an instrument here, little polariscope. And this is very important because if diamond is synthetic, it will show no pattern at all, HPHT grown, or CVD will show parallel pattern. This is from my last year booklet, maybe you have it. It's showing all possibility of green diamonds, and unfortunately there are not so many green synthetics, but many of them are treated. You can see here, they have strong yellow-green or medium yellow-green fluorescence, and sometimes they do CVD irradiation and make this kind of green color or blue-green. They can also make HPHT stones green. This is my book from now almost 10 years ago, Chatham diamonds. As you can see, most of them are yellow or pink. Some of them are kind of green. It's a mixture of blue and yellow. Face up looks green. Now this is the latest, maybe you saw press release 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. Swarovski Colored Diamonds collection. Here have 12 new colors. As you can see, become more for fashion, more for jewelry. They're now doing this as a business, and I'm very proud they're coming to my conference every year, and this year they will talk about lab-grown diamonds at their round table. So, what I'm showing here? I'm showing a little, basically mini UV lamp called peel inspector, or a little bit larger one. You can see here a difference. This is battery operated, this is a battery in. So what we can do with these instruments, as you can see here, this is my pink diamond that is treated because it's orange fluorescence. You can make a picture through this little window, it's a magnifier. And this is basically imitation jade that is here, you're welcome to come and see it. Long UV none, under short UV strong chalky blue. It's a glass. So fluorescence is a very powerful tool to separate imitations and treatments. In the past, I was teaching this jade because I'm living in Vancouver, a lot of Asian community, and they bring me jade every week, so I learn a lot from testing jade regularly. But sometimes it's just a quartzite that looks like a jade, but basically under UV light is very strong, chalky green fluorescence. This is a giveaway that is treated, and of course we can take RI and look on the microscope to see it's not jade. Sometimes, believe it or not, even glass is sold. I hope you can see a little gas bubble here. Sold as a jade, and they do fluoresce differently. Jade is very important for international trade, especially in Asia. People doesn't know, but jade, after a diamond, is the best-selling gemstone in the world. And then comes ruby, sapphire, emerald, much lower, like talking about a few $1 billion a year. Still less than diamond, but it's the best because some of the stones are very, very expensive. Of course, there has to be a jade, natural color, no polymer, and that's why we call it a jade. Waxing is accepted in an a jade, but not the second group of B jade, that basically it's chemically bleached to clean these stains of iron or other minerals, and there they have to fill up this stain with the polymers, and this polymer sometimes, most cases actually, will fluoresce a weak to medium blue. And stability is a good, not excellent like this one. The price is much lower, of course. And C jade or B plus C is the worst category, and they will dye jade as well. And this is really a lot on the market, and color is not as stable as B jade. So, of course, infrared spectroscopy is the final answer for detection of this kind of treatments, and I do use one, but we can see a lot by looking at the microscope. This is a concentration of dye. You can see here how is a very weak damaged structure, spider web in this case. And this is something I put together when I'm on my samples. Hopefully you can see. This is typical A jade, will not fluoresce or be kind of like this. Then in the middle here, two of them, you can see one vein that's fluorescing, or here a little bit more. On the right, it's more green than blue, but let's say it's green-blue. This is dyed jade, and this is dyed jade. Sometimes, you can see here as well, B jade cabochon that we closed up. This is just a broken bangle. Any glue will fluoresce as well, a strong blue. And hopefully you can see on the side here, you can see even crack on the side that is really B jade in a little piece of cabochon in the ring. Emeralds are, of course, much more present in US market, and this is one SSCF slide. You can see the reason for oiling is because this is how it looks without oil. This is after oiling. It's more sellable and more looks better color. Quite easy to detect under microscope. In case you have a lot of fractures, it's usually blue-green flashes or yellow fracture field. And of course, we have hydrothermal and flux emeralds that need some attention, but in most cases we can see this kind of chevron patterns on some inclusions like phenakite. We set up here one or two stones for you who wants to stay and look at the microscope. Travis Lehman for GLab from New York will help us to assist. So this is how it looks, grow features in hydrothermal emerald from Russia. I'm happy to work with a lot of Russian researchers. This is Moscow State University, who came as my speaker and workshop instructor at my conferences. So they gave me some samples to use and to make pictures. And this is, for example, how it looks flux emerald. It's very different than hydrothermal, much more thick, healed veils, and it's important to look at the microscope. as a good identification criteria. Of course, this is quite easy, but big platinum inclusions in flux emerald from Russia. So, what I want to show here, general setup for the cross-polarized filters. You can basically put on the microscope like this, two polarizers. In the beginning, we're doing this, me and my colleague Dusan Simic from New York, who were using this technique a lot to separate type 2A diamonds from other diamonds. This is how we started. And then people ask me, can we use it for gemstones? Of course we can use same technique. People know who took gemology courses. Polariscope is a very important tool. But very important, I think, to put under microscope, a small one that is already fixed position, and then look at the small gemstones. So it could be for diamonds, could be for gems. This is the one that I'm talking about. And this is cross-polarized position. We're looking at different patterns. We explain this in these booklets as well, pink diamonds and rubies and other gemstones to look at is the stone single refractive, double refractive, and this is also a book on fluorescence. This is the one that I just came out, took me most of December and January to do work on the book. For the Tucson show, I'm trying to do one color per year. So this year green, next year hopefully, if I'm healthy, to be blue or yellow, we'll see. And the idea is to use these 4 instruments that, of course, most of you have it. We promote, of course, a lot of to use a UV lamp if you have one, but I think it's important to have UV lamp that is more covered, so create a black box. A reason why, because you see now it's quite a good environment here to look at the fluorescence, but most of your offices or jewelry stores is a lot of light. So with a regular UV lamp, you won't see very well faint or weak or even medium fluorescence sometimes. Of course, a small portable instrument like OPL is very important if you know how to use it, or better models, more expensive, to check the spectra. So we are showing this in a very simple chart. It's not really a book, it's more like a manual for your practical work, for workshops. For example, this is alexandrite, synthetic and natural. Spectra-wise, we cannot see the difference, but you can see how big difference in fluorescence. This is medium to weak, and this is very strong, red-orange to medium. So this is a good screening technique. I'm not saying it's the final one. This is Chokhalsky one, quite clean. You can see, but this is the first thing to say, let me do some more testing, because especially if you don't see any inclusions, usually alexandrite should have some fingerprint inclusions, some needles, something to show that it's natural. And many gems actually fluoresce, believe it or not, people doesn't know. Andaluzite has a medium yellowish-green fluorescence. Apatite has very typical spectra you can separate, and interesting fluorescence, medium chalky white. So basically, even myself, when I was going for these green gemstones, I was surprised how many has interesting fluorescence. Of course, for emeralds, it's very important because many of them are oiled, filled with the natural or artificial fillers. This is one that is Gemetrat. It's very obvious, very strong greenish blue fluorescence. This is a bad example because it's really a lot of fillers. But even here you can see medium greenish yellow in fractures. This stone was oiled, then cleaned, and as a result, basically, we don't see blue fluorescence, a little bit weak red from the chromium. In this case, is emerald, should have chromium lines. Even trapezium emeralds could be oiled. You can see here how it's at the edge some fractures, and it's oil under long UV light. And basically, labs use this technique to see amount of fluorescence to show on the report if it's negligible or non, faint or medium or strong. Depends on the lab, different terminology. For synthetic emeralds, it's not so straightforward. I'm not saying this is the final answer, but that's a screening technique. Why? Because this is one that is hydrothermal, that is not from Russia, that's strong orange or red, or maybe strong red under short UV, and this is one from Russia that do not fluoresce, so be careful. You have to do microscopy, of course, and other techniques advanced. Flux from Chatham will fluoresce, and this is from Russia, a little bit different than Chatham, but still medium red under long UV light. I'm showing here just images of cross-polarized patterns as well, because they're double refractive stones. For Jade is very important because some of the Jade is quite big and we cannot fit in infrared spectrometer. We have to have special attachments, or it's just not everybody can send to the lab, and there are many of these. I'm showing here C Jade that is dyed. It's here. Who wants to see? It's chalky yellowish green because of dye. A jade should not fluoresce or could be weak or yellow because of wax usually. And B plus C, this is all dyed here, will fluoresce usually blue-green or green-blue. You can see here difference. This is why I put this together. And these are stones here who want to come on this station. This is more jade station. This is a turquoise station. This is a diamond and emerald station. So like 3 or 4 stations who wants to come. You can see here how is a medium chalky blue due to polymer. This is B jade. This is a B plus C. You can see in area where is really green color how is more fluorescing green. There's also difference in spectra. If you're good in spectroscopy, you can see that jade has a chromium lines, but this one has additional band here. This dyed jade. This is dyed, this is dyed. This is just a regular jade spectra, some iron lines and chromium. Of course, even crystals could be oiled. This is the one that is emerald, it is oiled, because when they mine them, they put them in oil and then they cut them after. This is crystal of synthetic flux that is very different fluorescence, much stronger red, unusual here, kind of zoned. And of course, spinels could be easily separated by fluorescence, the strong chalky yellow-green under short UV light, sometimes on both. We have samples of spinels as well, so basically you can decide which one you want to see. What is important about spinel synthetic, they have very strong anomalous double refraction. So like a snake, if you move the stone around on the polariscope, a natural spinel will be just SR. Refractive index is also different. Spectra cannot help, but infrared spectroscopy and some advanced tests can separate them. I like this picture here because fluorescence is so interesting. You can see this is maybe not such an exciting stone like a green spodumene, but look at fluorescence, strong yellowish orange and the medium orangey pink. This is just interesting to show fluorescence, to, how it's unusual. And I'm not showing you all pictures here, but some of them. Turquoise is a very complicated stone because there are many treatments. Some of you maybe went to Eric Fritz's lecture, different sources, different colors. So basically I acquired this in Tucson. This is in Hong Kong show. He told me, dealer, this is a new green turquoise from Iran. And I have it here based on fluorescence. And I'll show later some spectroscopy here at the show. There's some good colleagues of mine, like Maggi Labs, Mico Alberto, who has infrared and advanced instruments. We confirmed this. This is basically polymer stabilized and treated turquoise. Look at the typical fluorescence here, chalky green, and in the veins here you can see. This one is epoxy stabilized. Most turquoise is stabilized. Some of them are natural. We have here 2 or 3 turquoise that we got from Iran from our friend who came to conference. So you can check how difference is natural turquoise, natural color, and epoxy treated and dyed. And of course, the zircon doesn't fluoresce, but has very typical strong spectra. You can see even with a small instrument like this 635 uranium lines are typical for turquoise. Sorry, for zircon. So testing with advanced instruments, I won't talk too much because most of you don't have it. Some of you maybe are thinking about this because price is going down. So very important one is infrared spectrometer, and this is I'm using this one for diamonds or small cabochons here, and here special condenser for jade or for bigger stones. It's very important for many stones, synthetics, amethyst, of course, jade, diamonds, turquoise, many stones could be treated. Sorry, could be treated and could be detected. Sometimes we detect this line in diamond, green diamond as a general radiation line, GR1 741, but you have to measure really intensity of the line, position, compared to the color, look at the surface, look at the metalline iodide. It's very complicated to do origin of green diamonds. I know people who spent 20 years going to Brazil, going to study Dresden green, and still didn't solve it 100% origin, because it's very similar center causing both green diamonds and natural diamond and artificial treated. But this is very useful to check a jade with the spectrometer. You can see here how this band is much different than just natural blue A jade that has a chromium line here. This is more like a band, 670, 680. So it's very useful if you can take a spectra of the A jade invisible. Or this is advanced infrared. You can see here This is typical A jade with maybe some wax lines, but the additional bands are much stronger in a B jade that is treated. You can see it be possible to confirm this, and I get a lot of business for that because not so many people can do it in Canada. The same thing with the oil. It's possible to use infrared or Raman spectroscopy in this case to prove if it's natural color, optical, cedarwood oil, and other characteristic. Of course, we can do infrared spectroscopy, check if it's present water or not. Then it's natural or synthetic is absent in some type of synthetics. And this just I did these pictures yesterday. I just want to show you how we check. We put this green stone, it is here, under infrared, and we confirm that this peak here corresponds to the polymer in turquoise. So it's polymer and dyed as well, because we can double check this under microscope and fluorescence. So basically, in a serious gemologist in the lab will combine standard and advanced instruments to come to conclusion. I want to show you what we can do with the standard instruments, but for example, this is a report I did in emeralds. It is most probably from Africa, East Africa. Spectra is a little bit different than Columbian, and it's oil, which is common, and I put most emeralds are oil to improve their clarity. And this is the one that I did. Client wanted to also me to do pictures, so I did a picture of inclusions and spectra, a little bit different than Columbian, three-phase, and this is in the ring. So this is basically what we do in the laboratory on the report, or sometimes they want us to put the value, but it's not my specialty. I have a different person doing the valuation of emeralds and jade. Jade is very complicated to value, and I'm not the expert. So I have a appraiser, Angelina Yip. She's from Hong Kong, and she has a better idea about the value of jade, understanding jade. So I use some other sources for this booklet, and of course, some of my older articles, but many other researchers did very good job, and of course, a lot of information from GIA and GEMA, because this is still basic gemology here. And I would like to acknowledge some people like Angelina and Edith. They worked with me in in Vancouver, and Gem Connection give me samples. And here we have Travis Lehman from Gemological Appraisal Laboratory from New York. Kelly from Gemometrics from Sweden. She has an interesting instrument, Gempen, that she will show you. And Matt will also help with some samples who wants to look at them. We have samples from $10 to $30 just for sample collection, not to put in jewelry, your reference, collection to know your reference. Because people need collection reference for diamonds and for gems as well. And I want to really appreciate John Chapman worked with me for 5-6 years. He used to be in Argyle Diamonds in Australia for 30 years. Now he's consulting and making nice instruments. I really use them a lot. So we just touch on one topic of jade and emeralds here, and a little bit of diamonds, really not too much. But basically, I'm teaching all of this with my colleagues, and Elena Deljanin, my wife. She's especially for rough diamonds, at different parts of the world. So far we did 18 countries, 4 continents. Only Africa I didn't do yet. And next one will be in Greece, Mediterranean Conference, and next workshop, who is from Canada, to be in Toronto and Vancouver. And this is what we'll do in Thessaloniki. We'll also visit the mine. The only Korundu mine is pink sapphire from Prilep, North Macedonia. We have interesting tours. I'm from Serbia, so we go up to the Belgrade, visiting some mines and some interesting geological formations. And of course, because it's about emerald, this is this year, last year, a trip to Ural emerald mines. And some people that I know, like Gordana, took it and she really enjoyed it. And this year we're taking people to Ural Mountains in July. Who wants to come? There's a lot of flyers here. They're free to take. There's some books. Who wants to get, or you can always get in my booth at 63. And now we'll do a little workshop, what I really like to do, and to share my knowledge and experience with you. You can ask me questions now, if you have any questions about my talk. Or you can ask during the workshop if you have questions on any specific gems. So any questions so far? On green gems, here's Keb Beasley, very experienced lab gemologist.
Branko, I'm just curious, man, have you done any work with the organics? You know, the possibility of enhancing the pearls using polymers, corals using other additives and that sort of thing?
No, somehow organic gems I do test them, pearls mostly. I used to work in GA pearls in Vancouver. I even do pearls, but I never do any research on organic gems. Somehow, I'm not attracted or didn't come to me as a, of course, there are treatments many, but did you do any, Kep?
Well, I'm suspicious that they've been treating pearls with polymers.
Uh-huh, okay.
All these these examples that are just super lustrous, and of course anything as porous as an automatic candidate, it provides a pipeline for alternative materials to alter the appearance.
Yeah, so for example, I want to show you on the top, this is that one glass that I was talking about that fits under Julian Spector, and this is a synthetic emerald. Just be careful, not always showing exactly the same fluorescence, but in this set here, for example, we put together 3 stones. I just did it because I was lucky to have a roommate who has a lot of stones like this. So in the center is natural emerald, on the right is flux, on the left is hydrothermal. It's a good reference collection, and we can see how fluorescence is different. It's more or less known with the weak yellow fluorescence in fractures in the natural. In the flux is medium red, and hydrothermal is weak red. So this is something as indication, first step, what you can see without going to microscope, fluorescence. Of course, on the microscope, you can see natural inclusions, flux inclusions, or hydrothermal inclusions. This is something I would like to show you and offer you as a good reference collection. So if you don't have any questions, this is good. I went through the lectures in 35, 40 minutes for reason, so you have more time to do practical. So what we'll do, we'll separate, it's not big group, but it's good, 20, 25, perfect. I do even for 30 people, 40 people workshops. So Travis will be here at the microscope and this area here and show you some hydrothermal emeralds and some natural. And I'll be here and Zoe maybe can be here as a turquoise and maybe any questions about turquoise. We can look at fluorescence. And here I have a Jade session. So please come up and we can keep it to the light like this because it's good to see it in the dark. And any flyers, please take it away from you or ask me any questions.